Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lamone, and this is my review for Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Share them, leave a like, comment below, know your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I'll greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, another episode of SmackDown is done. We are getting closer to Survivor Series. It is next week, along with Thanksgiving. Just letting you know right now, we will not be covering Friday Night SmackDown next week. One, simply just due to the holiday, I'll be with family on that day, and also watching a big old rivalry game on that day as well. Two, typically with the SmackDowns before PLE, the viewership doesn't really do that well. And quite frankly, the episodes aren't usually that good either, because they're just kind of like, let's get through this so we can just get to the PLE. So unless I'm not able to cover SmackDown before the road, then I usually just don't cover those SmackDowns afterwards. And this SmackDown in particular was an interesting one. Like, it wasn't bad. I still think it was very entertaining. It's just, again, some of these stops and goes that they be doing on this show. Like everything we did with the women's division in this episode. Like, for what we did with the women's War Games match, good. Love that. But you really couldn't make any time for both of your women's champions. We were supposed to have the celebration with Chelsea Green. That didn't happen. Now I think this is probably going to become like an ongoing bit. And then when we do finally get it, it's going to be like super, super late within it. And I just don't know if it's necessarily going to work. And, you know, Julia's coming in. It's like only getting 10 seconds. And then, of course, Jade Cargill just has one quick line. Oh, you're the best women's champion, huh? Like, what happened to the whole thing with Michin? Like, surely we could have fit 2 minutes, no disrespect, Michin, 2 minutes on this show to have Jade Cargill come out, mop the floor with Michin, and then boom, that's it. I didn't need a whole lot of time with Jade, but again, I just think we need some time in the crowd for these women. And it just felt like, okay, well, what? Well, it's just frustrating. It really is just a little bit frustrating, because we were doing so good at first. The United States Championship, we do need a little bit more work on. Well, a lot more work on, to be completely honest with you. Like I said, she wins the title within like less than 2 minutes with a surprise roll up, and then we're supposed to have the celebration. It gets cut, and then it gets cut again this week. And then our main women's champion is again just resorted to these quick lines. Like, again, with Jade, less is more with her, right? She is at her best. Quick line, quick match, basically full-blown action no matter what. 1, 2, 3, bombs your uncle, we are out the door. But again, we just need to showcase these titles a little bit more, because they have been struggling throughout the year. And to be completely honest with you, the SmackDown women's division is arguably probably the weakest division. Both divisions, mid-card and main event scene, are the weakest out of all the divisions in WWE. And hell, I'll probably even take it a step further and say of all of wrestling. Like, you could throw in NXT, you could throw in AEW, you could throw in TNA, you could throw in CMLL, you can throw in New Japan. Like, that division is really, really struggling, and it needs to be addressed when we get to next year, whether that be a draft or some trades or what have you. We do need to give that division some focus moving on. Besides that, you know, everything we did with the men's War Games match, I like what we did with the Carmelo Hayes versus Bronson Reed match, because part of me was like, Bronson Reed really doesn't need the win to go the face Cena. He's already beaten a Roman, but then again, he has beaten Roman. He can't really take a 1, 2, 3 here. And then once I saw, you know, Paul and Breaker come out, then the Usos came out, so okay, this is how we're going to do it. And it basically took everyone hitting their moves until Cody comes out, hits the crossroads. It's a count-out finish, which I really, really liked. That one I really sold on quite a bit with. And then Cody hits his fire promo. Also like the opening, too, with Drew McIntyre beating him up. I don't know where this rule established that he can't enter the arena on SmackDown, because he was in the arena on Monday. And he got into the arena on last Friday. So where did that come into play, that he has to be outside of the arena? I don't know. But I didn't mind it necessarily, because, again, it just had a good story beat, and it also explained why he couldn't come back out during the Bronson Reed match to help level the score with Cody Rhodes. So overall, I didn't mind it. But, again, it just seems like, okay, where was Punk? Like, Roman and Brock, sure, you know, like, cool. Like, yeah, they're the part-timers. They're not really going to show up. Roman is going to kick off Monday night. But Punk should have at least been there. You're in war, dude. How are you not going to be there? And it's basically 4-on-3 this whole entire battle. Like, that was really, really just like, I don't know. Punk should have should have been there on the show in some way, shape, or form of capacity in that. Now, everything we did with the women's War Games, I really, really did like. I thought we did a good job with. I liked the constant teasing with Rhea and Charlotte. I liked we gave them the cinema moment, even though, again, like, we really beefed it up. Like, I liked how Charlotte and Alexa would come in and was like, look, I trust you, but that doesn't mean I trust them. We open the door, and then there's Rhea with Io by her side. It looks really, really cool. Like, can you give us a minute? And then we cut away from them like, oh, yeah, can't wait for this conversation. And it was literally just Rhea saying, look, we had some stuff in the past, but I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. And Charlotte goes, me too. After she dramatically stands up, I loved every second of it. Like, yeah, we could take the piss out of it for sure, absolutely, and we probably should. But god damn it, that's what I love about professional wrestling, just how dramatic, how cheesy it can be, and then we can really beef up this conversation that's going to happen between two people, and it's over within 15 seconds. That stuff I really like. Also really like the main event angle, even though I feel like it was pretty obvious they were going to introduce their fifth member as AJ Lee. Then here come the bad guys. AJ Lee's coming out to running, and then here comes Becky Lynch. I would have liked to see a little bit more dismay from Nia Jax, seeing Becky Lynch joining. Like, when she gets into the ring, they make like quick eye contact, because I was watching for Nia, and then Becky puts her hand out to Asuka because she wants to join, which I get. She wants AJ Lee. So, like, yeah, quick glimpse to Nia, like, I still don't like you. I'm willing to join because I really want to get my hands on her more than anything. But Nia, you look at her, she's just going, okay, well, I guess she's part of the War Games match. Now, I get it. It is kind of like double dipping, if you will, with Rhea and Charlotte. But, you know, they have history, too. Hopefully, we get an explanation on Monday. But, yeah, really looking forward to the Women's War Games match. I do like how the women's was getting like more focus on SmackDown, and the men's is getting more focus on Raw. Kind of balance them out a little bit more. I don't know if we get both advantage matches on Raw. I hope so. Just because, again, we're not going to cover SmackDown next week. But, you know, I'm just curious to see what the advantage matches will be now that the field is set. Because surely, like, there's no way we're going to do Roman versus Brock on Monday Night Raw, right? Like, if I had to guess, it's probably going to be Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso, a match we've seen, like, multiple times. I wouldn't mind a Cody versus Drew match either. That could be fun. But, again, you know, we're always going to continue that feud afterwards, after the fire that Cody spit after the Bronson Reed and Carmelo Hayes match. Surely we should save that for the PLE, which I guess would be the Royal Rumble, since Saturday's main event is NXT versus the main roster. But yeah, so if I had to guess, it's probably going to be Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso, or Braun Breaker versus Jimmy Uso. But again, I think the bad guys shouldn't have the advantage in this War Games match. I think, you know, the good guys should get it, because, I don't know, something about, look, y'all know me, I don't really care for Brock Lesnar that much anymore, but Brock Lesnar being in that giant cage with 2 rings does really intrigue me, and I do think you save him as number 10 when he comes out, and, you know, all bodies are, you know, fighting each other, and then he comes running in. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with that. And then for the women, yeah, you give the bad guys the advantage there. That's completely fine. On that one, you know, AJ Lee could be number 10 on that, and then she comes on out, and then here we go, because AJ is going to wait for Becky to come out, and then Becky's probably going to be the last person on the bad guy side too. But yeah, for the wrestling overall, I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought Fraxium versus DIY was a lot of fun. Rebel Heart is now the main theme for DIY. That was pretty cool. But yeah, very fun back and forth tag team match. The United States Open Challenge match was also really good too. When is it not, right? Ilya versus JD McDonough I thought was really a lot of fun. Penta versus Finn Balor was also really good too. I like how all the matches really had good amount of time throughout the whole entire runtime of the show. Not really a whole lot of promos in this one, right? Because yeah, we had the Jade, Chelsea, and Julia segment that only lasted like 30 seconds. Then we had the opening promo at the end. We had the men's promo at the beginning, women's promo at the end, and we had the Cody promo in the middle. I think that just about covers all of SmackDown, doesn't it? Again, like nothing really that's really going to shock you by any means, but you know, it was a fun episode. I was thoroughly entertained throughout. I did feel the runtime a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I think around, because I'm by Central Time, so around 7:45, which was where we were approaching the second hour, I was feeling it a little bit. As for the SmackDown before that, I felt like it was really flying by. I didn't feel the runtime whatsoever. So, yeah, we took a couple steps back, especially when it came to the women's division, because I felt like we were really building it up a little bit more throughout the past couple weeks, and then this was kind of at a stop standstill. I can somewhat understand because it's War Games, and none of those women are going to be really showcased on it, besides Charlotte and Alexa. So yeah, you give the show time to the people who are going to be featured on the PLE, but still, it's your number one women's champion. You got to have her showcased. You have this brand new title in the United States title that's only been around. It's approaching 1 year, and you do need to give it a little bit more focus. So yeah, it's something that needs to be addressed. And again, could be one of the benefits to a 3-hour SmackDown if they were to actually use it. But we will remain to see. But yeah, those are my thoughts on SmackDown. Again, fine show, just didn't necessarily love it. And do I think next week will be better? I mean, yes, there's the traditional Survivor Series match that I am looking forward to seeing. We haven't had one of those in quite some time. I missed the concept. Well, we had it in NXT, but, you know, on the main roster is what I'm trying to say. I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, you know, it's just nothing next week is really like getting me super amped up. You know what I mean? I feel like all of that's going to be on Monday, and then after that, I'm going to be ready for the show. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about it down in the comment section. Leave a like if you made it this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you all. So squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Limit Studios.